It's training camp season. Today we're looking at the Saints, and we're going to watch the quarterback battle between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough. We're going to watch them take turns working through drills, throwing the ball around, everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're looking at practice every day. We're looking at training camp. We're looking at your rookies, your position battles, guys you're getting ready to draft in fantasy football. It's all right here. Click that button. Stop missing out on what your players are doing behind the scenes. But we got a quarterback battle of a lifetime here. Shough versus Rattler. And they're taking turns splitting off with the first team. That's what I'm reading from the beat reporters. And then I had to double check that with Google, because sometimes they're off. Sometimes they are. I've had that with a few other teams. So if you have something else you want to add that I'm missing from reading from the beat reporters from their tweets, let me know. Let me know, but I'm trying to keep the tabs on all 32 teams here. We got Tyler Shough here, tossing it to Olave. And we also have some Jake Haener in here as well. I'll loop this and keep talking ball like we always do. We got a lot of clips, though, so we're looking at getting the full thing from the last few days, today and yesterday. Shough dispersing the ball. Here's more Tyler Shough. And from paying attention to the beat reporters, they're getting more out on Tyler Shough than Spencer Rattler. Makes sense. They want to showcase the rookie a little bit when it comes to showing clips on social media. A little bit of Jake Haener out there as well with their clips. I'll have him in there. There's more Shough. I do have some Spencer Rattler. There he is, tossing it, working through some drills. During OTAs and Minicamp, during the battle, Spencer Rattler was winning it from what I perceived, from what I've read and looked at. See if that continues throughout training camp. We're still young in the training camp. We're still young into it. And a lot of these teams call this like the preliminary period, where they're getting the gears greased up in training camp, where they're not really firing it up full clip. Going 11 versus 11s or in shells. They're not all the way in pads. So some of these teams, they'll turn the heat up here in the next few practices. A lot of these teams started on the 22nd. Chargers started last week. And like with most teams, they ramp it up throughout the process. So I would not take winners or losers right now. I just keep watching. There's Rattler right there throwing the ball around. There's Shough on the other side. Are we going back to Rattler? Nope. We're going to the next clip. There's Rattler right there. Rattler has good command of the offense. You can definitely tell. He's got a lot of experience. 5-star quarterback at Oklahoma. Had his down moments. Transferred out, went to South Carolina. Remember, Caleb Williams had to step in there at Oklahoma. His stock tanked immensely. Built himself back up into a functional quarterback asset for the NFL. Got himself drafted even. Which, considering where he was at when he was at Oklahoma, like how far that stock fell, that's good that we're in this moment where we're fighting for a starting job right now. Like, considering those few years ago, that where he was at, and we're here to this moment where he's fighting with Tyler Shough for a starting job. Like, you would not have really guessed that, but he came on strong. He pulled himself up by his bootstraps. Tough mentally. Will keep coming back play after play. That's the thing about him. That's what you got here at quarterback. But you can make the same case with Tyler Shough, because he had the injuries throughout his career. Came out and made a strong showing at Louisville. Strong arm. Has some ability. Has some of the most beautiful placement you'll see from a quarterback, especially downfield while on the run. Both these quarterbacks pulled themselves up from their bootstraps to get into the league, to get them in this moment right here, and they're fighting for the next step. That's what's going on. You also got Jake Haener in there. I don't want to, disregard him, but when you're listening to the media, you're watching the clips and everything else, you look at the draft capital, the prestige of the quarterbacks. Shough versus Rattler is the main thing. I love Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks got into a scuffle today. He's feisty. I love Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, first-round draft pick, originally with the Saints. This guy can create separation on a whim. Crafty veteran wide receiver. has been traded for a first-round pick multiple times throughout his career. That just lends to how valuable teams think he is. I think this is a sneaky asset for these two quarterbacks. But honestly, when you look at the talent of these two quarterbacks, and when I'm talking about these teams in training camps, there's a lot of teams with what ifs. The what ifs with these quarterbacks is they both have very good talent at the collegiate level at different areas. Like, you look at Rattler, he's got that moxie, he can sling the ball. He's very, very confident in what he can do. Placement downfield. He can command an offense. He's kind of got that aura to him, but during his collegiate career, you saw it last year, but there was a lot of injuries at play with this team that the consistency needs to get there. That's one thing you got to see, but you can definitely see during his run with Oklahoma, South Carolina, and in practices this time last year, that he has the goods. We just got to put together and develop. We just got to get together. Tyler Shough has immense arm talent. He's got good movement skills in the pocket. The ball zips off his hands. He's got pretty placement downfield. And he has that injury history. So there's a little bit of unknown with him because it's not like you have a full run of multiple seasons of production out of him at the college level. And there was talks that Shough could have been a first-round pick before draft time. Like, his stock was rising as people went back and looked through his tape. Rattler has some mobility. A lot of people are down on Rattler because of last season, but they were also dealing with a lot of injuries at wide receiver, rookie quarterback, and Rattler, like I said, throughout his collegiate career, up and down play. But that up play has always looked really good. This was a high-end 5-star quarterback. You see that on the back pedal throwing that out with Shough. Reports were saying Rattler was winning it when it came to minicamp and OTAs. Things will ramp up more throughout training camp, more pass rush, joint practices. Joint practices is when we know who's getting it done. That's like the preseason, except for on steroids, just more reps against opposition. And you see some in the preseason, but you only get a few series. There, the coaches are going to see a lot. We'll have the clips. We'll have the clips. As long as they're posted, we'll have the clips. And I'll collect them. We'll go over it. And you can see for yourself. This is going to be an interesting quarterback battle. So, from beat writers, first practice, Spencer Rattler start off with the ones. The next one, Tyler Shough. And I think I got it mixed up because when I was reading it from the beat writers on Twitter, I felt like it was the opposite. But then I Googled it, and it was Rattler. So the beat writers tweeting sometimes you'll get mixed bag information. But that can also get you, like, on top of that, as things are happening, you'll get more of the in-the-moment information than the curated information that's cut and dry for the article, if you get what I'm saying. More honest, more reactionary information compared to edited information for what they're writing out there. So that's why I like to look at the tweets. But there he goes, hitting that. I mean, Rattler can be money. Like, if he can get to the point where he's play-to-play, series-to-series, game-to-game consistent, he could be a money quarterback. He's got that in his game. And he was in a very good quarterback class last year. If he was in this year's quarterback class, he would have got a lot of buzz. This was not a good quarterback class. Like, he would have competed very good in this year's quarterback class. If you're looking at it that way, he would have got drafted a little bit higher. He would have got drafted somewhat higher, somewhere. Because this was not a good quarterback class. It was good when it comes to backup quarterbacks, really. Like, you might catch some gems that we're not thinking about. But Rattler is a different prospect where he was having a high pedigree coming out of high school, 5-star recruit, goes to Oklahoma, paired with Lincoln Riley, and he starts off humming. He starts off at Oklahoma hot. And then he has that bad run of games. Caleb Williams has to take over. Next thing you know, it's over with at Oklahoma. He transfers out. His stock goes to zero. And the next thing you know, he starts doing well again at South Carolina. It's a little bit up and down, but it's also in the SEC. And that's tougher competition. That's an upgrade. And still does well. He does well enough to get himself drafted here with the Saints. And now he's doing well enough to be in this quarterback battle. Nothing against Tyler Shough here. immense arm talent, immense talent in general with his ability to move and hit guys on the fly downfield with accuracy. Now, if he can develop and materialize, that skill set could help you out a lot. You got Olave back healthy from the concussions. You should look at his guarding cap. You can kind of see it from here. It's just huge. It looks like a beehive on his head. But I can't blame him. I can't blame him at all. I understand. But it is what it is. Rashid Shaheed's back. So you got your deep threat. Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is going to add another layer to this offense. Alvin Kamara is going to be Alvin Kamara until Father Time says no. That's something else to look at with this team. But we're going to have more clips from this quarterback battle. We sure will. We'll keep you guys posted. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. I want to thank you for watching, though. Catch you on the next one.